Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and it is officially day 10. We have hit double digits on the Hunt a Day Until Wilds Releases challenge. And today I wanted to close out the Sunbreak Monster Trio. I've already done Garangolm, I've already done Lunagaron, so today I wanted to close things out with Malzeno, who is such a really fun fight with a cool design, really dope armor, and became the basis for what became my all-time favorite armor set in Sunbreak. When I hunted Garangolm for this video series, I did it with my Vampire Gunlance set, and I talked a little bit about it in that, but I fell in love with that. As soon as I made it, that was pretty much all I ran for the entirety of the rest of Sunbreak, until I started making, my 4A hunting horn build and a bunch of other weird shit that kind of fell by the wayside, but that Vampire Gunlance has stuck with me pretty much every time I log into Sunbreak. I want to blow something up with it. And it would not have been possible without Malzeno, so I think I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for this monster for that reason alone. And I really wish this hunt went better. It is rough, but I decided that once I recorded something, I was going to put it out, so bada bing, bada boom, you get to see me suffer through this hunt. I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that it has been a while since I've hunted a regular Malzeno. I have been mostly, when I fight a Malzeno, going for Primordial because I think it's real fun. So there were a lot of tells that I missed or, attacks that I wasn't expecting. And also, weirdly enough, I wanted to do this quest with followers because I really like that system, and I know we're getting something similar in Wilds, so I wanted to sort of tie that into what I was going to talk about. I think having the followers there kind of screwed me up more than it actually helped me out. There would be times where I thought I had myself well positioned, but then Malzeno would turn and go after Hanoa or Luchika, and I would end up either whiffing an attack or hitting a place I didn't want to, and that happened a lot more often than not. It could also be that I am just not great at Monster Hunter. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm never going to be able to no-hit a challenge. I just like throwing myself at the monster like a annoying gnat of a hunter and letting whatever happens happen. But still, this was a really fun hunt. Luchika and Hanoa are, I think, my two favorite followers to use together. Just because Luchika is able to constantly knock down the monster with the sticky ammo and provide a lot of good support fire. And then Hanoa with the hunting horn and the heals and the attack up is always so good. I'm really excited to see how they refine this system in Wilds. I saw a little bit when I watched the Gamescom demo, and I'm wondering if we got to see a little bit more when they did the Scarlet Forest stuff, but I will still be holding off on watching that, even though I really want to see. I think it's such a cool way to give that multiplayer experience even when you can't hunt with friends. Because there are some monsters in Sunbreak that I do not want to hunt alone. I love Violet Mizutsune. I think it's a fun fight. I do not want to fight it solo. He kicks my ass. Same thing with, Flaming Espinas and Primordial Malzeno. I cannot imagine going after those guys on my own without backup. And having the support hunters, the followers there, can really help you just dive into those hunts and have a great time with it, regardless of how well you remember the mechanics. And I know there's some people who are opposed to them because of that. The get good mentality of, you should be 100% learning the monsters and you should always have all their patterns down, and ain't nobody got time for that. Use the mechanics to your advantage. Use what you have. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you're playing the game wrong. If you're having fun, you're playing the game right. Alright, now, something that I want to start doing with these hunts, because I think it would be fun, is kind of talking about how likely I think they are to return in, if not Monster Hunter Wilds, Monster Hunter in general. So, with Malzeno, I think the likelihood of it returning in Monster Hunter Wilds is 0. I do not see any reality where Malzeno makes a return because it is so tied to the Curio. Because it is so tied to the Curio and the story of Sunbreak, I don't think they can drop it into the next game in the series. That being said, Malzeno is incredibly popular. It is, I think, probably the most popular monster from Sunbreak, just from the entire collective community, that I think the chances of Malzeno returning one day in a future Monster Hunter game are incredibly high. And they're probably going to do what they did with the Magalas in Sunbreak and not particularly care too much about the lore, story importance of why they're there. Like, back when Sunbreak was being revealed, I would see people talking about Gore Magala or Shigaru Magala, and people would respond to them by saying, essentially, it can't happen because Gore Magala is so tied to the frenzy, and it's such a lore important story thing that they would kind of have to craft the entire story around that. And then the entire Magala family tree just showed up anyway, and they were like, oh yeah, the frenzy, that's a thing, go deal with it. So I can definitely see them doing the same thing with Malzeno down the line, where suddenly it'll just show up and someone will mention, oh yeah, that thing deals with like parasitic curio delios, we should make sure that that doesn't become a problem, and have that be the justification for why we're hunting it. Which I don't have a particular problem with, because I think the monster's cool. But it is kind of underwhelming to have these big lore important monsters come back and be kind of shadows of their former self in terms of like importance or threat. Like Gore Magala in Sunbreak is just another step on the journey. There's no real build up, there's no like major this is badass reveal. It's just another monster. While in For You, it was built up to be this huge cataclysmic threat, and you got to fight it twice before you did the actual quest to kill it, and it showed up, and it was a looming shadow among your entire quest. It was cool. It was dope. 4 Ultimate is still my favorite story in the entire Monster Hunter series. I think it hands down does it the best. But yeah, I think like a 0 out of 10 for Malzeno returning in Wilds, and a 9 out of 10 for it returning in another future game. I think if we get another Stories game in particular, it'll show up as an end game Elder Dragon Monstie for sure. As you may be able to tell from my voice, I am feeling a little under the weather. I think the fall weather is starting to kick my sinuses in the posterior. So I'm going to be wrapping up the ramble here today, and hope that I successfully managed to cut out any and all sniffles from the audio recording. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see y'all next time.
this to your growing list of accomplishments.